Right, I'm going to take a bit of a punt. If you are watching this video, you are probably in the market for a bit of a fancy, quite a fast, family-friendly SUV, because these two really tick those boxes. We have the Porsche Macan 4, and we also have the Tesla Model Y Performance. Now, I have to add about this. This car was not only the UK's best-selling EV, but the world's best-selling EV for the last 3 years. So this has got some serious competition.
Yeah. Now, before you start kicking off, we are very aware that there is a price difference. I mean, it's around £10,000. That's before you even start adding on the lots of extras that this car has. But stay with me, because I have a theory.
Yeah.
I think if you gave up your croissants and your coffee every day for the 4 years that you had this car, you could afford it, like it'll be the same.
Oh,
I've worked it out.
hang on a minute. I didn't think we were doing girl maths. I thought we were test driving cars.
Yeah, no, we're doing both. We're doing both. So stay with me. Let me explain. Subscribe.
So remind me, why are you making me give up my much loved coffee and croissant?
It's simple maths. See, here's the thing. Every day you're spending around £7 on your coffee and on your croissant. If you were to buy that 365 days a year for the 4 years that you're going to own the car, that, my friend, is £10,220, which is the price difference between these cars before you add on the extras. So,
But I could keep my coffee and croissant if I drive this, yeah?
well, yeah, but we're going to compare them. Okay, this is the new Porsche Macan. It's all electric, of course, and this is the Macan 4, which I think is a bit of a sweet spot in the range because it's above the rear-wheel drive base model and well below the extremely pricey turbo model. Now that means you get a 95 kilowatt-hour usable battery, which is good for up to 380 miles WLTP range, or 368 on this test car, which gets bigger batteries and a lot of options. The list price for this car is over £71,000, but then obviously we got some more bits on top.
Oh, that is a punchy list price. Interesting colour, by the way.
Thank you so much. £1,200.
Ah, but people will pay that. They do just love customising a Porsche. However, people also love a bargain. And this Tesla Model Y Performance comes in at under £60,000, and it includes pretty much everything. We're talking semi-autonomous driving, a lovely pano roof, all the gadgets, all the safety features you could ever hope for, and a lovely, comfortable interior.
Mine also has a comfortable interior with the really nice leather seats, £1,380.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, 0 to 62 miles per hour, 3.5 seconds. What you got?
5.2 seconds. But look, let's be honest, how often are you in a drag race?
I mean, literally every day, Monday to Friday, it's called the school run.
That's just because you're late all the time.
True
Stop being
story.
late.
This is actually the car for anyone that lives their life a tad late.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Thanks.
I'm going to be honest here when it comes to the design, right? We've got two luxury electric SUVs here. I think they're a bit boring. I'm just going to say it. I want something sexier when it comes from a Porsche under this price. And I look at the side profile and I'm not a fan of it. I look at the front end and I'm not really a fan of it. And I feel the same about a Tesla. I find a lot of electric SUVs nowadays are just looking the same.
I mean, agree to a degree, but I think the Macan is a good looking car. It's a nice profile. It's sturdy, it's got presence. You've got fancy LED matrix headlights on the front there.
Thank you, £850.
It's really adding up this, isn't it? Whereas we take the looks of your Model Y and it's just, yeah, it's a bit basic, it's a bit frog-like. It definitely doesn't shout prestige, that's for sure. Okay, so I feel like the interior of Tesla is a bit Marmite-y.
Yes.
You're kind of a yes person for this style or a no person, because it is quite a style. It's just very, very minimalistic. It's very futuristic. There are no buttons anywhere, apart from obviously on the screen. The screen does everything. You do get a lovely pano roof though.
Yes.
And you do get lots of storage.
Yes.
Oh, that's not mine.
Oh.
But I'll eat that later.
Nice.
Little grey snack.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think for it is very Marmitey, and I think we can be completely honest here and say it's not for us. Tesla's not an interior for us. However, Ginny really likes the interior when it comes to a Tesla.
We're more traditionalists, I would say. We like gadgets, buttons, things, and just a bit more of a style to it. This is a unique style that it's functional. It's a really nice place to be though. You know, like all the materials, it's well made. It looks nice if that's your vibe. But I would never have a house that was like, I would never live in a minimalistic house. I like fabric and cushions and lots of things.
It's things like everything being in the screen, which I know eventually you do get used to when you're driving a Tesla. But for me, for having everything in the screen, I find incredibly irritating. Having all your climate controls, having every single thing to do with the car all within the screen, your vents, how to open your glove box, all in here. It's not for me.
How often do you open your glove box though?
Never.
Exactly. Okay, good. So I've crossed that one off the list.
You're absolutely right. I never open it.
Who uses their glove box?
No one. Such a good point.
Or it just has things in there that are there forever. Like I have a high-vis jacket and baby wipes. Never go in there. And if it was my mum's car, there would be not the AA, the A to Z. What was that called?
The A to Z, the map.
Yeah. Which we now have on here. But temperature gauges, climate control is the other way of calling it, is there. So you don't have to go into a menu, it's there all the time.
Fine.
As is the kind of main things that you'd like, how to make a call, I'll show you go on YouTube, but you know, you can change that to what you always use. And then I suppose the only thing that you would want access to while driving maybe is changing your regen.
In the screen. But yeah, there's so much going on within this because let's look at this car as a computer rather than a car.
Exactly.
There's so much more that this can do within the screen and with everything.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Lack of head-up display used to really bug me because I want to see my speed like right in my eye line.
Can't do that.
But actually, you can't do it, and the time it takes for my eye to go from there to there is pretty much the same as there to there, and I'm used to it now. And actually, it doesn't bother me so much.
It bothers me.
Yeah, okay. Just thought I'd throw it out there. What does bother me is I don't like the font and the way it looks. It's very, very basic.
You don't like the font?
No.
Interesting.
It's very basic.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
There is one thing I want to show you though. Watch this. Activate dog mode.
Okay, fine. As a dog owner, this is pretty great because it will set the temperature in the car so then your dog won't overheat or get too chilly. She's gone. She's gone.
So Nick, what do you think? Oh, Nick, sorry. This video is brought to you with Andersen EV, the UK's most awarded home charge point brand of 2024, offering over 200 colour and finish options, a market-leading 7-year warranty, and a unique hidden tethered cable. Sorry about that, Nick. Won't do it again.
I'd rather be stuck in here.
Well, you are kind of right. It is. We're back in home. It's like home territory, isn't it?
I would
just very comforting.
Much rather be trapped in here. The quality of everything in here is just so lovely. Hello, beautiful curved screen. Hello, beautiful screen in the middle. Everything is beautiful. Hello, climate controls of actual physical switches. Wireless charging for your phone that you can hide away. Very nice.
Lovely pano roof.
£1,200.
Oh, ouch.
Yep.
Oh, lovely heated seats.
£300.
Oh. Let's have a look in here. Oh, no grey snack bar.
No snack bar. No, but there is a coffee.
£1.50 for that? There is a coffee, but I will take that away imminently. Manos, got your coffee.
Oh, thank you.
You can't afford that anymore.
It's so nice in it. Like the quality of the materials, everything all on the doors. Let's ignore the colour for a second, because the colour's not very nice.
Do you know what? I actually quite like the colour on the interior. I don't like the colour on the exterior, but I don't mind it on the interior. It's nice.
I just think
it's a bit more interesting than just grey or black.
Yeah, I think Porsche are very good at design and how to make you feel comfortable and cosy and feel like you're sat in something special. I feel like I'm sat in something special right now.
Does it feel a bit smaller? Like, because you're in a closed cockpit. Not that that's a bad thing. It might
doesn't
feel good, but it's not quite so spacious and airy.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call that spacious and airy. I would just call it the
Empty.
Tesla. Yeah, empty. I would call that empty, and I would call this cosy and lovely.
Yeah, it is very nice. Although, interestingly, I mean, I am on your side, but there's a lot of information on that dashboard. Have you ever thought, I don't actually need to know what the date is, what my battery, maybe the battery charge is quite useful.
You can,
but then you've also got your 12-volt battery.
You can change that. You can change, everything's customizable.
But what would you change it to? To some more information that you don't need?
Yeah. Sure.
Just playing devil's advocate.
I think it gives you every bit of information you need. You can get head-up display, but I don't have that option, but that's another expensive thing that you can add on top. You can also get keyless entry, which I don't have, but that's another £700. So I don't have those things. But apart from that, it's stunning. You've got the nice Porsche clock that they've got in the middle, which is always really nice.
This is also very pretty, but a bit small. Once you get used to the big screen, suddenly, don't you think that feels small?
No, I don't think it feels small.
Are you sure?
No, and
let's have a look at the map, because suddenly...
CarPlay. You don't get CarPlay in a Tesla.
That is good, but it's just a bit small. Anyway, I'll deal with it.
Disagree. So,
That looks nice. Okay.
We're going to do the rear seats in voiceover.
Cue voiceover.
If space is important to you and you're thinking of going for the Macan, yes, this is the smaller of Porsche's SUVs and is a bit dinkier than the Cayenne, but it's still over 4.7 metres long, and the new PPE platform underneath allows for really good packaging. There's certainly enough rear passenger space for 2 adults, and you get climate control and ISOFIX points as standard. I want to point out something that I've noticed. The colour of this interior looks like someone's had a lot of red wine and then maybe got a tad sick on the back seats. So hey, if you're a fancy cab driver and you pick up a red wine loving party goer, go for this, because no one would know any different, apart from the smell.
Now, the Model 3 has a high floor relative to the seat base, but that is not the case here, so it means taller occupants will still feel nice and comfortable. It has 2 ISOFIX in the back and plenty of footroom beneath the front seats, which helps too.
Boot space is very nice in the Porsche Macan. We've got 540 litres of space. If you fold down the rear seats, you've got 1,348 litres of space. Very nice. And then in the front, we've got 84 litres. It's decent. You've got little side pockets, some straps. It's all good, baby.
I'm confused, because you're saying things like it's decent, but then you're giving me those kind of figures. Would you like to know what I've got in the Y? Just a mere 854 litres. Fold the seats down, over 2,000 litres. Plus, in the front, with the frunk, 117 litres. And, bet you can't do this.
Okay, and you're not exactly sure, are you?
5'8".
5'8".
Mm-hmm. Maybe 5'7.5", but we'll round that to 5'8".
I mean, okay, fine. You've got decent under boot floor. I don't have anything going on underneath this boot floor. But can I point out...
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. The
No.
Americans measure things very differently. The Americans measure things up to the roof, whereas in Europe we measure up to the parcel shelf. So shush.
Details, schmeetails.
Right, dare I say it? I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it. This is the best driving electric SUV that you can buy. I've said it. Get over it. It really is. I mean, look, there's loads of really lovely driving electric SUVs out there. I mean, you think of, I don't know, the BMW iX3, for example. Lovely, lovely. But this, it's just on a whole different level. It really is. There's something, I don't know how Porsche do it, but there's something about how they make their EVs. I mean, I always feel the same about the Porsche Taycan as well. They just make them really, really lovely to drive. And yes, I know the option list on this car is insane. But I think the options that are on that list are worth the money. I do. It's a lot of croissants, can't lie. It's a lot of coffees. But it's worth it. You want to pay extra for those extra bonuses. You really do. For example, this car here has the optional rear axle steering, £1,445. Yeah. And it's also got Sport Plus power steering, £204. Honestly, it's worth it though. It's worth it because even just taking this thing round a roundabout, it's so comfortable doing it. And it also means that tight turning circle makes it much easier to live with. It does. And it has a button here which has an electric sports sound. Turn that on. And it adds a noise through the car. £353. Just adds up and adds up, it really does. I don't think you need the sports sound. That doesn't really add that much to the car. I don't think you need to pay for that option. But I need to take you through everything on how this car actually works, because once you get used to it, it does work really well, but there's a lot of confusing buttons. So, if you want to use the regen braking, or the recuperation as it says in this car, you kind of have to go through a load of menus. So your best option here is to go through the menus, and if you want to use the regen braking, then you would save that to this personalised button that's here, that looks a bit like a Renault badge. Put that there, and then you can turn that off and on. Is the best way to do it. But you can also, you can personalise that button to however you want to use it. For me, that's where I would put my regen braking button. So if I were to lift off the accelerator, it's got the smallest bit of regen, like it's hardly anything. But Porsche have kind of done that on purpose to entice the petrol drivers to driving electric, to kind of go, no, look, you can still cruise in this thing. Regen braking doesn't really matter that much to us. Whereas in the Tesla, obviously it brings you down to a complete stop. But this is so smooth. It's so smooth. It's great, but you can chop and change everything. So also on the steering wheel, you've got your drive mode. So I can flip it here, turn it round. I'm in sport mode. Shaboom! That's great. That is great. You want to go a bit more? Sure. Turn it up to Sport Plus. Yeah. 387 horsepower, just in case you were wondering. And if you do put it in launch control from a start, you've got 408 horsepower. Treat yourself. I'm very aware it's not as fast as the Tesla. Fine. I don't actually care about that because the Tesla has nothing on this car. It really doesn't. Apart from the fact that you get everything as standard and you don't have to pay more for the options in the Tesla. And the supercharger network on the Tesla. Apart from that, this is great. And this wins it hands down, in my humble opinion. When you put it in Sport Plus and when you put it in Sport, you can feel the suspension firm up and you feel the steering get a little bit heavier as well. So you feel like you have a bit more sort of sporty control over the car. And if I put it back down to normal, there we go. Oh, it's so smooth, that. It's nice and quiet as well. I feel special while driving it. I do. I think that's all thanks to the nice Porsche interior. So you feel special, like this feels expensive while you're driving it. It's just a shame that it looks like that from the outside, because I don't think anyone's going to turn heads for this car, which is a shame. It's a shame. They're probably going to turn heads for this car because it's pink. But if you had this in grey, no one's going to look twice. No one's going to look twice at this car. It should be so much sexier on the outside because it's sexy on the inside. It is. It totally is. You do get adaptive cruise control in this car, which is another option. £500. Which is crazy. You've got to pay 500 quid for that in a Porsche when you actually get it as standard in a Citroen EC3. Do you know what I mean? And you do get that standard in the Tesla. Yes, I know you do. By the way, you can, which this car has, you can get Isofix on the front seats. That's an option. £140. So, but it's there as a choice. If you need it, just got to pay for it again. Oh, and you can tow. You can get a tow bar attached to the back of the car. That's another option for £945. Are you doing the maths on this?
Right, I'm sure that Nicki's way further up the road than I am in her much faster Tesla, but I'm sure she's not having as much of a good time as I am.
Where is she? I haven't seen little purple hippo in my mirrors for a while now. Let's think about this for a second. The equation. Does more power and more speed equal more fun? Yes, I think it does. I mean, come on. 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds? Yeah, that screams fun. It's a no-brainer, right? I am loving it. Come here. Don't tell Nick, but maybe, just maybe, the speed is just a tad, just a smidge unnecessary. If you did use all the power whenever you could, I would be amazed if your kids weren't throwing up all over the back seats. Don't get me wrong, the shock, the awe is impressive. Yes, it's fun. And importantly, it's actually really easy to manage despite all of that power. But honestly, maybe it's a bit unnecessary. So with that in mind, I would actually probably go for the standard long-range all-wheel drive. Better range, better value, and just a slightly more sensible performance. And actually the new one that's just been announced, it comes in at £61,000, and we will be bringing you more on that very soon. But let's bring it back to this model, because honestly, I think there's no doubting what the Tesla's capable of, right? Yes, it's lovely to drive. Yes, it's predictable. It settles down. It gets you where you want it. I just wish it was maybe a little bit more comfortable, because you can actually feel the suspension working quite hard over the bumps in the road. It's also a little bit noisy. It's not terrible, but I've driven that Porsche and I know it's smooth, it's a lot lighter, and the drive overall is just a lot more engaging, I think. This is impressive, but in a more shouty, one-dimensional way. I mean, don't get me wrong, what this car offers for the money is amazing. It's going to do the job of a daily family car brilliantly, but I'm not sure I'd say the performance is actually as fun as you'd think, beyond that straight line pace. Now, one thing I do love about this is driving dynamics. You can make it, tweak it, exactly how you want it. So for the acceleration, we've got chill or sport mode. Obviously, day-to-day driving, maybe just keep it in chill. And then when you're trying to show off to your mates, chuck it into sport mode. Steering, we can change the weight of it from light, standard to heavy. I'm actually going to whack it onto standard, which is quite nice. And then the lovely bit, it's called stopping mode, but is effectively regenerative braking. So this is the three options that you have. You've got creep, roll and hold. Hold obviously bringing you to a complete standstill. So that is the sort of most hardcore regenerative braking, and it is really, really good. We are in hold at the moment, and just like that, we take our foot off the accelerator and we grind to a halt. So really, I mean, it's not far off. Well, it is really. You can use it as one pedal braking. I mean, it's just not bad. That cuts in pretty quickly, doesn't it? So we've got regen braking, and then there's also a few extras like off-road assistance, slip start, trailer mode. It really does have it all, as standard.
Score the handling points for the Macan then, which also wins the charging race. So this will top up from an ultra-rapid charging point at up to 270 kilowatts thanks to the 800-volt system, which is mighty impressive and good enough for 10 to 80% in around 20 minutes. Lovely! You get a heat pump and 11 kilowatt AC charging as standard too. Oh, and mine can tow 2,000 kilograms, while that Model Y can only manage 1,600. Yeah, have that, Tesla.
Well, the Tesla is hardly slow to charge. It will rapid charge up to 250 kilowatts and will do a 10 to 80% charge in a very similar 25 minutes. Plus, being a Tesla, you get access to the supercharger network, which is super because it isn't just the most reliable and convenient network, it's also usefully cheaper than most other public rapid chargers. Oh, and by the way, mine gets a 4-year unlimited mileage warranty, while the battery is covered for 8 years and 125,000 miles. Longer than the warranties on your Porsche then, yeah?
Right, so I feel like I've heard a lot of extra this, extra that, extra bloody blah over the course of this video. How much extra is extra? Come on.
Shut up.
Come on.
Just
give it to us.
£83,049.
Could you say that a little bit louder, please?
£83,049.
What? How much more?
Yeah.
That's £23,059 more for your car than mine. You could actually just buy a Citroen EC3 as well as the Model Y.
Yeah, but shut up. So, what you're saying is just ridiculous. I mean, you'd have to give up coffee and croissants for life.
For a really long time. Also, I have not agreed to give up anything, I'd just like to point out. But, okay, bearing that in mind, am I still torn? I'm not sure. I just think, yes, the Macan, well, it is basically better in every way. The exterior, the interior, the way it drives, the way it handles. I personally quite like the way it looks as well. So you do have that on your side. But for the money saved, I do just think the Y's got a lot going for it.
Yeah, okay. We can all agree that the Model Y is a remarkable thing. And for a lot of people who don't have a charger at home, etc., for the supercharger network, yes, we will recommend a Tesla. We will. However, this is beautiful.
Over here.
This is beautiful. I mean, it's just a far superior car. It really is. If we just ignore the price for a second. It's much better at handling, it's more stylish, it's better interior, it's more comfortable, and it has more character to it. Yes, I know that the exterior still isn't the best looking thing, in my humble opinion.
You don't like the way it looks.
I don't like the way it looks, but I like how I feel while I'm in it. So that's where I'm at, and I think it's a clear winner.
All right, I wouldn't necessarily it's a clear winner, but we'll go with it on this occasion. But I would like to ask one request. Please, can we have a rematch with the new Model Y that's just come out?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We'll do that. As soon as we can get our hands on the new Model Y, we will do this again and do a proper head-to-head.
Done.
Meanwhile, can I borrow £7 so I can get coffee and a croissant?
No.
Starving.